Hello and welcome to this Oak Tree English video on how to pass any reading exam. Okay, now I'm not afraid of making bold statements, but this is a huge one. I think I should make it clear first. This is a technique which, when employed correctly, has proven to help a lot of my students perform better in reading exams than before they were introduced to it. But that's too long to put on a YouTube thumbnail and is also less likely to improve my click-through rate. Having lowered your expectations, let me raise them again. I have seen this applied well and to good effect in ESOL exams, IELTS exams, CET, PET and FCE exams, functional skills exams and GCSE exams. Whatever reading exam you're taking, they will all be made easier by S.A.R.king. SARG stands for Survey, Analyse, Reference, Check. At this point, I usually ask my students to stand and start marching on the spot and we do a sort of call and response. But this is a video, so it's harder to do. If you can master this technique, however, reading exams will become much easier. The first step is to survey your text. You probably won't have time to read the whole text, so you have to get an idea of it quickly. You can do this in a 10-second challenge. You can tell a lot about a text within just 10 seconds. The title will probably tell you the topic and possibly the angle. Any pictures or logos will convey a lot of meaning. They say they're worth 1,000 words. The layout of paragraphs or columns will tell you what type of text you're dealing with. Is it a letter? Is it an article? Is it a report? The next step will be to skim read. You may have tried skimming a stone across a river or a lake, where you get a nice flat stone and throw it with plenty of spin on it at the same level of the water as the water, and it bounces on the surface of the water until it sinks. Skim reading is similar. You cast your eyes over the text, allowing them to bounce from one feature to the next. You should aim to read the first sentence of each paragraph, any headings or subheadings, the captions to any pictures, the subject of the text box. By the end of a minute surveying a text, you should know enough to successfully navigate the text, that is, to be able to go straight to the section which will give you the answer to your question. If, of course, you know what your question is asking. And people often get this bit confused. The A of S.A.R.C is not analysing the text, but rather analysing the questions. Forgive me for stating the obvious, but when you're given a question in the exam, read the question. I've seen very intelligent, capable and sensible students mess up exams of which they are completely capable of passing because they didn't read the question carefully. You must look at the question or process word. This is usually the first word of the question. Sometimes this is a straightforward, such as who is looking for a person, where is looking for a place, when is looking for a time, etc. Sometimes it's a bit more involved, such as why do you think, which is asking for your opinion or a reason based on evidence. To what extent do you agree, which is asking for your opinion quantified with adverbs like fully agree, partly agree, completely disagree. It might be compare and contrast, which is asking you to identify similarities and differences. You should understand what type of questions may come up and be prepared to give an appropriate answer. So that's survey, analyse. What's next? Quite right, reference. This will take the main portion of your time. Any reading exam is an exam in your reading skill. It is not testing what you already know. Even if you are a master of the topic under discussion, you must resist the temptation to answer from your own mind. You must always answer from the text. One of the most important skills you will employ in this part is scanning. And this acts like when you're scanning the airwaves on an old-style radio. You're listening for something that sounds like music you like, or human voices among the static. Similarly, when you're scanning a text, you're looking for important keywords to jump out at you. These could be keywords including antonyms or opposites, or synonyms, that's equivalents, significant details such as reasons, names of people or places that begin with capital letters, or numbers including dates, which separate themselves easily from the main text. Once you've located this specific information, you read in detail around it. Read the sentence, possibly a sentence before and after to give context, and find the answer. Please check that the information you have found actually answers the question. Finally, always leave a few minutes at the end to check your work. Make sure no answers are left incomplete. A blank space has a 0 chance of being correct. Make sure you've written something, even if it's a complete guess. Make sure you've answered questions from your text and not from your mind or your experience. Remember, it's a test in your ability to read, not what you know. Make sure you have actually answered the question on your paper and not an easier question you've created in your mind. Do this before you hand your paper in. I've seen that when people follow these steps, their reading exam results are positively impacted. If you follow these steps and pass the exam, then please tell your friends about Oak Tree English. If you follow these steps and don't pass the exam, I have been Ronald McDonald and you should boycott my restaurants until I correct my grammar. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for listening. I hope it's helped.